The big city port was in the grips of winter. It had come earlier than expected, and along with it came the fog. None of us really liked fog, but in those days it was worse. Tugs had no radio and no radar. Long periods of fog had a way of conjuring up sea stories and superstitions among the boats of the harbour. I remembered Big Mac returned quite late. He had been working all day with Scuttlebutt Pete, who had been telling him old sea stories of strange things that happened when fog was around. As he passed the direct buildings, they seemed to take on ghostly shapes. They groaned and creaked as if they were alive. As Big Mac came closer to an old warehouse, he heard a whisper which grew louder. It was too much for Big Mac. Forgetting safety, he charged into the fog and made his way through the dark shapes of mourned boats and trampers, trying to make sure that the ghost tugs weren't following him. Earlier the next day, the Star Fleet all had their orders as they moved out. They were giving Big Mac a hard time about his ghosts. That evening, Warrior was making his way back to port with some shrimpers were following him, using him as a guide through the fog. Warrior swerved violently just to miss the mud banks, but the shrimpers were not so lucky. Izzy Gomez, the old tramper, had failed all day to get a cheap tow into port, so he decided to try to sneak in for free with the help of the fog. The ghost tug slid silently into the fog. Zoran was so shaken he slid around in a circle and met Izzy again. OJ returned from escorting two trampers out to sea. Tired and still some way from our pier, he decided to take a shortcut through the inlet where old cranes were kept. The fog gave everything a creepy look. Being out for so long in thick fog was playing tricks on him. Top Hat had been out all day, too. 10 Cents and Sunshine were taking fuel out to Lily Light's ship. An early sun had burnt off the fog, but Top Hat was still asleep where he was tied up. They watched with embarrassment as Burke and Blair towed away the rotten galleon. Later on, Star Tugs found they could laugh about it, but they never forgot that the fog nearly sent them crazy.